Hello, and thank you for watching this regional forecast for the Canadian Prairie. I'm Andrew Pritchard, Senior Meteorologist with Nutrien Ag Solutions. Well, temperatures across the prairie right now, again, warmer in the east, 20 degrees in Winnipeg right now. You'll find some upper single digits and low teens as you head across the rest of the ag belt of the Canadian Prairie. Temperatures right now a bit cooler across Saskatchewan. We're looking at 24-hour temperature change in Fahrenheit here. Again, warmer in advance of a system that's moving across the prairie right now. Cooler air coming in on the backside behind that cold front there, but then already beginning to warm back up as you head back towards central and northwestern Alberta. Now, looking at the satellite picture, again, here's the little system. You can just see some of the cloud cover making its way into Saskatchewan and then pushing out of southwest or southeastern Saskatchewan into southern and central portions of Manitoba. Clear skies as you head back toward the west. Much of Alberta will be waking up to sunny skies here on this Wednesday morning. Now, as the system makes its way through, we've got some light rain showers moving into the Saskatoon area, some rain maybe moving through the Regina area. As we head through the morning hours, this activity will push off to the east as we head through the remainder of the day. Now, we've got a storm system that's going to be moving through here, an upper-level wave. We'll take a look at the 500 millibar wind speeds here, and you'll really be able to see this trough digging out here as we get into Thursday. We'll get into Thursday evening. And here it is. You see the core of the stronger winds. This is our jet streak now coming around the base of that trough across southern Saskatchewan and then blasting into southern Manitoba as we get into Friday morning. As we get into Friday evening, pushing into Friday night and Saturday morning, we see the trough moving off to the east. We see another trough coming in from the west. In between there, we'll have some quiet weather, a little ridge of high pressure here as we head into the end of the week, the very beginning of the weekend. You see the trough coming in over on the left, though. We're going to talk about that in just a moment. We're heading into a rather active pattern here across the prairie, and we'll talk about what that means. Now, as we talk about the first wave, we're looking at CAPE, convective available potential energy. This is the fuel that we've got here for some of our thunderstorm activity. This is the forecast here as we get into this evening. Not looking at much in the way of instability today. You can see the much higher, warmer colors down here off to the south across the upper Midwest of the United States. Now, as we get into Thursday and this wave begins to dig across the prairie, let's stop it here Thursday evening. If you remember, that little jet streak was coming in like this. We've got just enough instability here across southern portions of Saskatchewan, a few hundred joules per kilogram up to around 1,000. That's enough for a strong storm or two to produce some large hail or some gusty winds with that strong upper level wave, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. But again, the very high instability value is well off to the south across the U.S. as we talk about the next several days. We'll take it into Friday afternoon and evening. Now the wave is beginning to push off to the east. You still see a few hundred joules per kilogram of instability here, so still looking at maybe the chance of a strong storm producing some large hail across far southeastern Manitoba into southern Ontario as we get into Friday afternoon and evening. We can visualize that here with the precipitation forecast from the NAM model. Again, heading through the day today, just some very light shower activity across this region. And then we'll take it into the evening looking at a pretty quiet finish to the day with most areas clearing out by late in the day, early overnight. Now, as you head well off to the west, as our wave begins to dig in here, we could see a couple of thunderstorms move off the mountains late tonight across central portions of Alberta, producing some lightning, maybe some large hail with a couple of those storms. This should be very isolated in nature, though. As we head into Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening, we'll look for the chance for some of those storms to erupt once again, where we've got just enough instability here across southeastern portions of Saskatchewan, southwestern Manitoba. Those will continue to move east during the overnight. And then as we get into the late in the day on Friday, that chance begins to move well east of the prairie here, just far southeastern Saskatchewan, or Manitoba, into western portions of Ontario. So Friday into Saturday, really kind of a in-between period here. We should have some pretty quiet weather. A lot of folks across the prairie on Friday afternoon will be seeing clear skies, warmer temperatures, and then we see that next wave beginning to move in as we get into Saturday. So let's step back, let's look at the European model, and let's talk about the pattern that we're moving into over the next 7 to 10 days. It's a pattern that's going to feature a storm track with troughs and little waves moving from northwest to southeast, digging across the prairie. Now, this is not like what we saw if you think back 3 to 6 weeks ago, where we were seeing big troughs dig in across the Pacific Northwest, across western Canada, and really just driving impressive storm systems across the prairie. This is not going to be that. This is more of a clipper-like series. We're seeing these quick-moving systems just diving across the prairie and then digging across the northern plains in the upper Midwest of the United States. So we'll put this into action. I'm going to hit play and let it play out, and you can just kind of visualize the pattern there before I start slow motion dragging it and drawing pictures all over it. But here's our Thursday wave. You see it digging like that, moving across the prairie from west to east, just very quickly, bringing a quick shot of some scattered showers and storms. Here comes our Saturday wave, now digging across the prairie. This is a little bit more well-defined. This one moves through during the weekend, bringing a bigger push of cooler air on the back side of it as it moves through here during the last half of the weekend into early next week. But then here comes another one. This one digs just a little bit more, perhaps cuts off across the western U.S., but then we really resume this pattern, getting into now the first few days of September. Here comes a stronger patch of, or stronger core of winds. You see a couple waves now moving from west to east across the prairie, but we just kind of continue this pattern where, again, we're just looking for little troughs, sometimes bigger than others, but essentially taking this northwest to southeast trajectory, bringing the chance for scattered precipitation off and on as we head through the next few days. Now I'm going to go ahead and bring this back, and you're going to notice this is an active pattern, but I wouldn't call it a soaker, and we'll look at this in a few different ways. But here's our chance Thursday with this system, this little wave digging across the prairie, that chance for some scattered showers and storms moving from west to east pretty quickly across the prairie. So this is Thursday evening, Thursday night, taking it into Friday morning, and now this thing's out of here by midday Friday. Then we watch the next wave coming here. This is going to be midday Saturday, getting into Saturday night. You know, we talked about maybe late Saturday, seeing a couple of storms pushing off the mountains here across southern portions, central and southern portions of Alberta. We then see a front kind of extending to the south along this, along and south of this storm system, the area of low pressure across the northern border of Saskatchewan and Manitoba. But the frontal boundary extending south from there, just bringing, again, a quick hitting shot of some showers and storms from west to east. This now Sunday morning, midday Sunday evening now, looking at the chance for the most widespread activity to be across Manitoba. Again, cooler air coming in on the back side of this front now as it extends across the prairie. So we'll see cooler air moving in as we start the next week on Monday. But then we just continue this. Here comes another system as we get into Tuesday of next week and Wednesday. Now we're getting into Thursday of next week, and you're just seeing these little waves fly in from northwest to southeast across the prairie. And now again, active pattern, but not a soaker. We're looking at the 7-day precipitation anomaly forecast, and you're seeing the core of the heavier precipitation off to the north. That's because as each of these systems moves from northwest to southeast across the prairie, we're drawing in some Pacific moisture, but we're also going to see a lot in the way of dry air coming down from the southwest, or I'm sorry, out of the northwest behind these fronts. So let's look at like this. We'll put the total precipitation over there just in case you kind of want to see, what does the anomaly forecast mean in terms of actual precipitation. Well, where we see the corridor of the orange and the red colors, that's where the heavier precipitation is going to be. That's where we're talking about getting more than 30 to 50 millimeters of precipitation over the next 7 days. Now, as we go ahead and just focus on the ag belt here, looking at the Canadian Prairie, let me pick a brighter color here. This is where we're talking about, you can follow the colors down here too, just scattered showers and storms producing perhaps some corridors of 12 to 25 millimeters of precipitation. Certainly someone could pick up a half an inch to an inch of rainfall across the ag belt here over the next 7 days, but a lot of areas also getting missed, perhaps picking up a trace, maybe a few millimeters of precipitation. So again, this is where you see the boundary here between far northern portions of Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba, picking up more substantial rainfall. Perhaps the Winnipeg area tapping into that, maybe a slightly higher chance of getting into that half-inch to 1-inch precipitation total here. But then again, across the prairie, probably talking about more in the way of scattered amounts, a few millimeters, to maybe a couple isolated areas picking up that half an inch or so. Again, the reason for this, if you think back to the summer where we had the big storm systems digging in across the Pacific Northwest, across Western Canada, when we saw that, we were developing these big areas of low pressure that were moving across the prairie, tapping into Gulf of Mexico moisture, drawing that very unstable air mass northward, combining that with the upper level support and creating really impressive severe weather outbreaks across the prairie. Now, instead of doing that, with this northwest to southeast storm track, again, we're going to be drawing in some Pacific moisture. Let me find a good example of this as one of these waves moves ashore. Here's one here coming in as we get into the first day of September. You see it bring in some Pacific moisture with it here across Western Canada into the prairie. But again, not bringing this up from the Gulf of Mexico. And then what follows is a big shot of cool, dry air. You see the brown shading coming in now. This is another cold front. So we're seeing these big cold fronts sweep through, bringing cooler, drier air. So it kind of even acts to reset the air mass. So then we have to start from scratch, bringing another wave of Pacific moisture in. So again, it's an active pattern, but not one that's going to produce a lot in the way of heavy rainfall or significant severe weather outbreaks across the Canadian Prairie. Now, where you will really notice the active pattern is going to be in our temperatures. We're going to be going for a bit of a roller coaster ride in some of these areas here because we're going to see warm air advection in advance of each storm system and then cool, drier air coming in on the backside. So as we get started here on Thursday, looking for near average temperatures across the Prairie over the next couple of days. Cooler air comes in on the backside of that first little wave here, Thursday into Friday. We'll see temperatures warming in advance of our Saturday wave. So here you see some warmer colors coming in. But then a big cold front follows this one Sunday into Monday, taking us into a cooler start to the next work week. Here you see that cooler air blasting in as we get into Monday and Tuesday of next week. We see our next wave come in. We're warmer than average again by the time we get to Wednesday and Thursday of next week, with warm air coming in advance of our next wave. Then another cold front sweeps through. We cool back down as we get into Thursday and Friday of next week. So again, you're seeing it. It's not going to be a very active pattern. It will be active in terms of getting a chance for these scattered showers and storms across the Ag Belt, but not going to be active in terms of robust severe weather threat, widespread areas just getting pounding rain for days on end. No, quick moving storm systems bringing a scattered chance for showers and storms, bringing warmer temperatures in advance, cooler, drier air on the backside of each one, bringing in a very active late summer and early fall pattern here. So Calgary, check out your temperatures over the next few days. 25 today, 21 tomorrow, 26 Friday, 20 on Saturday. Cooler air follows the weekend cold front. High temperatures in the teens on Sunday and Monday. Edmonton, you'll be down to 14 for the high on Sunday afternoon with a low of 4 on Monday morning. Regina, here's your temperature swing, 28, 23, 29, 19, then cooling down on the backside of that cool front. Really going to be looking at some cooler air as we head into early next week. Saskatoon, same thing, 17 for the high, 6 for your overnight lows Monday and Tuesday morning. Winnipeg hanging out in the low to mid 20s for your highs until that cool front moves through on Monday, dropping us down to highs around 19 with overnight lows right around 10 degrees, perhaps into the upper single digits as we head into early next week. Have a great day. I'll talk to you again on Friday morning.